Welcome back. Grab a cup of coffee, settle into your favorite chair, and let's have a serious discussion. What if I told you the biggest advancement in survival firearms isn't the latest tactical accessory, the newest micro-compact handgun, or some cutting-edge military rifle? What if the real advantage comes from something much simpler? Absolute dependability. A firearm that works when you're completely isolated, miles from help, deep in the wilderness, and relying on nothing but your equipment and your skills. Imagine the power grid fails, supply chains break down, civilization feels very far away. In that moment, two things matter more than anything else: the tools in your hands and the knowledge in your head. That's exactly what we're exploring today. We're counting down 5 of the greatest SHTF and wilderness survival firearms ever made. Along the way, we'll look at their history, unique design features, and practical value in real-world survival situations. Because when everything is on the line, only certain firearms truly earn their place. At number 5 sits the most adaptable rifle platform in America, the AR-15. Any discussion of survival firearms that ignores the AR-15 is incomplete. Designed by Eugene Stoner during the late 1950s, the AR-15 evolved into what many consider the modern American rifle. While earlier entries focused heavily on food gathering and hunting, the AR-15 excels when security, logistics, and self-defense become primary concerns. In a large-scale emergency, access to spare parts, magazines, and ammunition becomes critically important. Since the AR-15 remains the most common rifle platform in the United States, components chambered in 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington are often among the easiest items to find. The platform's greatest advantage is modularity. By pushing out 2 takedown pins, users can swap upper receivers in minutes. A 16-inch 5.56 upper can provide perimeter defense during the day, while a dedicated 22 long rifle upper allows quiet small game hunting. Other caliber options further expand capability. The direct impingement operating system benefits from regular lubrication, but its enclosed design helps keep debris away from critical components. Ergonomics are another major advantage. The safety, magazine release, and bolt catch are all positioned for efficient operation without significantly changing grip. Pros include unmatched adaptability, low recoil, high magazine capacity, and outstanding parts support. Cons include increased maintenance requirements compared to simpler manual action firearms, limited suitability for large game in standard 5.56 chamberings, and the possibility of drawing unwanted attention due to its tactical appearance. Entry-level rifles from reputable manufacturers can be found around $600, while premium duty models often exceed $2,000. At number 4, we have a tie between 2 legendary pump-action shotguns, the Mossberg 500 and the Remington 870. No survival firearm list feels complete without the American 12-gauge pump. The Remington 870 debuted in 1950 and built a reputation around its strong steel receiver. The Mossberg 500 arrived in 1961 with a lightweight aluminum receiver and highly intuitive tang-mounted safety. Both firearms utilize dual action bars, which help prevent binding and twisting during operation. The true strength of the 12-gauge lies in ammunition versatility. Load birdshot for birds and small game. Use buckshot for defensive situations. Switch to slugs when dealing with large animals or extending effective range. Few firearms adapt to different tasks as quickly and effectively. These shotguns served in military conflicts, law enforcement vehicles, hunting camps, and countless homes across America. Their reputation for reliability under harsh conditions is well-deserved. Pros include tremendous close-range effectiveness, unmatched ammunition flexibility, and proven durability. Cons include heavy ammunition weight, substantial recoil, and shorter effective range compared to centerfire rifles. Basic models typically retail between $400 and $500, while used police trade-ins can sometimes be found around $300. At number 3, we return to a historic classic, the Winchester Model 90-Fauer. Often called the rifle that won the West, the Model 90-Fauer remains one of John Moses Browning's greatest achievements. Introduced in 1894 alongside the legendary .30-30 Winchester cartridge, this lever-action rifle became one of the most successful hunting firearms in American history. Its place on a modern survival list comes down to handling, reliability, and discretion. The slim receiver carries comfortably and slips easily into a scabbard, backpack, or vehicle. It points naturally and handles beautifully in thick woods. In locations where semi-automatic rifles face restrictions, lever guns often remain legal while still providing meaningful capability. The tubular magazine allows shooters to continuously top off rounds through the loading gate, without removing a magazine or unloading the rifle. The 30-30 Winchester cartridge remains highly effective for medium-sized game and provides useful defensive capability out to roughly 150 yards. Pros include excellent portability, respectable follow-up shot speed, continuous loading capability, and a less threatening appearance than modern tactical rifles. Cons include ammunition limitations associated with tubular magazines, slower full reloads, and optic mounting challenges on older top-eject models. Prices vary significantly. Desirable pre-1964 rifles often exceed $1,000, while modern Miroku-produced examples typically range between $800 and $1,400. At number 2 is the undisputed king of rimfire survival rifles, the Ruger 1022. If long-term survival is the goal, efficient food gathering becomes critical. Introduced in 1964 by Bill Ruger and Harry Safried, the 1022 revolutionized rimfire rifle design. Its famous 10-round rotary magazine sits flush with the stock and uses a spring-loaded rotor to ensure exceptionally reliable feeding. When discussing long-term wilderness living, ammunition weight matters enormously. A 500-round brick of 22 long rifle ammunition weighs only a few pounds and occupies very little space. Carrying 1,000 or even 2,000 rounds becomes entirely practical. That's impossible with most centerfire rifle cartridges and unrealistic with shotgun ammunition. Small game such as squirrels, rabbits, birds, and raccoons often provide far more sustainable food sources than larger animals. The 1022 excels in this role. The rifle generates virtually no recoil, making accurate shooting easy. It also runs quietly, especially when paired with subsonic ammunition. For decades, it has introduced new shooters to marksmanship while simultaneously serving as one of the most effective survival tools ever created. Pros include legendary reliability, lightweight ammunition, minimal recoil, and one of the largest aftermarket ecosystems in the firearms world. Cons include limited effectiveness against large predators, reduced defensive capability against determined threats, and the slightly lower reliability inherent to rimfire ammunition. Standard carbines typically retail around $350, with sale prices often dipping into the $250 to $280 range. Claiming the top spot is the Henry U.S. Survival AR-7. To understand this rifle, you have to go back to Eugene Stoner's early work at Armalite during the 1950s. Originally developed as a survival firearm for Air Force pilots, the concept evolved into the AR-7 we know today. Henry Repeating Arms currently produces one of the finest versions of this design. This isn't a battle rifle. It isn't a long-range hunting rifle. It's an emergency survival tool built around portability and self-sufficiency. The stock is hollow and constructed from durable ABS polymer. When stored, the barrel, receiver, and magazines fit entirely inside the stock itself. Two 8-round magazines can be carried internally, creating a completely self-contained package. Once packed, the rifle measures roughly 16.5 inches long. It fits easily into backpacks, aircraft compartments, vehicles, and watercraft storage spaces. One of its most remarkable features is buoyancy. Whether assembled or stored in its water-resistant stock, the AR-7 floats. If it ends up in the water during a river crossing or boating accident, it won't disappear beneath the surface. Weighing only about 3.5 pounds, it can be carried for miles with almost no burden. Assembly takes less than a minute, allowing quick deployment whenever food gathering becomes necessary. Pros include unmatched portability, self-contained storage, water resistance, flotation capability, and fast semi-automatic follow-up shots. Cons include a somewhat bulky stock profile, a thin barrel that heats quickly, and basic sights that prioritize practicality over precision. MSRP is roughly $360, while many retailers sell them for around $300. For the cost of a quality pair of hiking boots, you get a survival firearm that could prove invaluable in a genuine wilderness emergency. As we wrap things up, remember one important truth. We can debate cartridges, actions, optics, and ballistic performance all day long, but every firearm, no matter how advanced, is ultimately just a tool. The true survival weapon is your mindset, your training, your physical condition, your awareness, and your ability to keep moving forward when circumstances become difficult. These 5 firearms represent some of the finest companions you could carry into an uncertain future, but they're only as effective as the person behind them. So now the question goes to you. If you had to leave civilization behind tomorrow and disappear into the wilderness, which firearm from this list would you trust the most? And is there another survival firearm you believe deserves a place among the all-time greats?